I find it in this crazy old world. Need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
We need them. Yeah, we do. We need those strategies. In some situations, we need more strategies than in other situations.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about that today. Hey, are you ready? You're ready for your daily dose of radio rehab? Well, I certainly hope so. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is licensed professional counselor, Lauren Leon McMillian.
That's right.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to scrape off my pee.
No longer are you provisional.
That's right.
There you go. I said that there's some situations where we need more help, more strategies than other situations. Mm-hmm. And one of those
raising
is
children.
Yeah. And so you remember our friend Larry Valmore.
How could I forget Larry?
MSW and coach extraordinaire. And the author and guru of Epic Parenting. Hello, Larry. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me back. That's a real honor.
Well, it's also a necessity, Larry, because as I said, there are some areas where we tend to need more strategies than other areas, and raising kids, raising our children,
raising humans,
right? It's so important because it's about what's happening in the world now, but it's also about what's going to be happening in the world 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now. Yeah. So
absolutely.
I so appreciate you wanting and recognizing that this is a need, and we'll come back and talk about this, but who's flying the plane, right?
Yeah. If people didn't hear us talk a couple of weeks ago, then that'll be something that's kind of hard to understand.
Yeah, but hang on.
We'll flesh it out.
We'll get there. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for a Living. And we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX. We train your brain. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Muffy, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. Epic Parenting today with Larry Valmore. We'll be back. Stay right where you are.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Let's welcome into the program now Larry Valmore. I've known Larry, for 26 years now.
Yeah.
maybe 27.
Sometime.
Enough
Time to recognize how awesome he is and how incredibly wise.
How incredibly wise, how incredibly authentic.
Yes.
How Larry has this heart for helping. Doesn't matter who you are. If you come into contact with Larry Valmore, you're and he understands what it is you're wanting. I can promise you're gonna get help.
Yes, guaranteed.
And so, Larry, welcome back. Welcome back to Strategies. Glad you're back and glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And maybe we can temporarily rename this Strategies for Parenting.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Just for today.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. So, if folks want to go back and listen to our previous show, and they can do that by going to our podcast, Strategies for Living podcast, wherever you get podcasts.
That's right.
And it's actually season 33, number 90.
That's right.
And so because you're going to refer to probably some things and build off of some things that you shared with us last time, you're starting, the world needs this. It's called Epic Parenting. Epic Children, and good way to remember that is the website is epicchildren.com. But what you're really doing, Larry, is helping parents be better parents, in fact, extraordinary parents, and helping children be invincible. That's epic. Extraordinary parents, invincible children. I love that you came up with this.
Yeah, thanks.
So who's flying the plane?
Yeah, so when we talked before a couple of weeks ago, I gave a metaphor about people on an airplane. The flight attendant comes out of the cockpit, pilots are dead. Oh my God, we're all going to die, and because nobody's flying the plane. And
right.
This metaphorically represents how kids can feel if parents are not exerting the kind of discipline and control that they need to, because otherwise, if the parents do not appear to be flying the family, so to speak, then kids get anxious, and then that anxiety shows up in a lot of ways that are unpleasant for parents and for teachers at school and generally members of the community, because then they'll start acting out, as the psychologists call it, getting into trouble, causing problems, being hard to get along with, throwing temper tantrums, et cetera, et cetera. And this is all an expression of their anxiety, because it doesn't appear like somebody competent is in charge of the family. And the reason this happens is if you're a parent that's experiencing something like this, it's not your fault. It's because you haven't been given the correct information about what's going on with your kids psychologically, and a clear set of directions for how to effectively deal with it. And so that's why I'm on with Dr. David and the lovely Lauren McMillian to give some of this missing information so that you as a parent can effectively deal with what's going on with your kids. And that will make you an extraordinary parent. And over time, you can help your kids become invincible. And by invincible, I mean kids that are skilled at solving problems, that they are skilled also at working with other people to accomplish useful things in the world, and they have reams and reams of self-esteem.
They're ready for life, in other words.
Ready for life. Whatever life throws at them, they can deal with it, because they'll have emotional intelligence. They'll have this very strong foundation that you've helped them build. in terms of feeling secure, feeling strong, feeling capable.
I like that you're saying, right up front, Larry, that if you're having issues in the house, in the home with kids, it's not your fault,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not the kids' fault. I don't recall at all.
We don't get a guidebook, right?
No,
we
and
don't
even
get to be certified to become parents,
even-
although maybe we should.
Well, even in graduate school,
Right.
all three of us went through graduate
Yeah.
school. You for social work, Larry, counseling for Lauren and I. But I mean, I got a course on human growth and development.
Yeah.
And there was a smidgen here and there.
There's some information on goodness of fit and that sort of the psychology of.
But as important as parenting is, you would think that people being prepared for going out and practicing would be given, I don't know, 1 or 2 graduate courses on parenting, and yet they don't exist to my knowledge.
No, they don't, and that's why I'm here to offer that advanced level information. After having worked with kids in various capacities as a counselor for a church youth group, as a family therapist, child therapist, et cetera, for more than 50 years now, I've picked up a few things, and I can pass on the fundamentals. And that will allow parents to gather the information they need to be more effective with their children and help launch into the world, into society, these invincible children.
And one of the things that parents may be surprised by is that if you put some of this epic children material into action in your home, and it's easy to do. We're going to tell you how to do that and where to get information and how to contact Larry. But if you do that, you're going to be shocked, very surprised, shocked at how the level of peace rises within the home. The level of chaos goes down within the home. Everybody will relax.
You feel safer.
And because when you feel safe, you relax. Some of the anxiety goes away. And so it's not only important for the kids, yes, it is, but it's also very important for parents and grandparents and teachers.
Well, I think it's important just for people who aren't even parents. Because even on some level, we're dealing with the child within all of us.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point. We're all epic
Excellent
parenting
point.
ourselves.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think we all need a little bit of that. Reparenting.
I do too, Lauren, because little Lauren is inside you.
Right.
Little Larry is inside you, Larry. Little David's inside me. Sometimes I want to kick his little ass, but he's there.
Well, and that's where some epic parenting might come in handy, right?
Yeah, so following up from, the other thing I mentioned on our previous, just in our previous discussion, was this rule of 3. And again, you can pick that up in
number 90.
Season 33, episode 90, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, so I talked about the rule of 3, which quickly means that the third time you have to tell your child to do something, you're going to impose a consequence. And you're going to do this very quietly. So you're going to take away their iPod, their Xbox, their PlayStation, bicycle, something. You're going to impose some kind of consequence. And then you're going to stick with it. And where I wanted to pick up for today is about this idea of sticking with it. Consistency is extremely important, because if you say no to something and then the child does it anyway, and there's no kind of consequence, if you don't even acknowledge that they're doing it, even though you told them not to, then they conclude that nobody is flying this airplane. It only adds to their anxiety if nobody competent is flying the family, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so, surprisingly, kids actually want discipline. Now, one of these times I may tell a story from a client years ago, how she worked so hard to get her mother to discipline her, and mom just wouldn't do it, and it was still painful to her years and years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there's a variety of ways I can talk about this, but children actually want discipline. Now remember, discipline comes from Latin for teaching. This is not punishment.
Right.
This is discipline. It's
Big
structure.
difference. Big difference.
Huge, huge difference. Punishment is more like revenge. Discipline is this form of teaching. This is how to be a human in society. This is how to structure your life for success. So by imposing these consequences, you lose a privilege, you lose something that's important to you as a child, and your parent takes it away in order to teach you something about how to behave.
Not your fault, not your kid's fault. We need epic parenting. EpicChildren.com is the way to contact Larry Valmore. We'll give that again, EpicChildren.com. We got to take a quick break here on strategies, but we've got much more to learn, much more to come today from Larry Valmore on Strategies for Living. Be right back. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Today with Extraordinary Parenting, Larry Valmore, EpicChildren.com. And that's what you need to remember, EpicChildren.com. That's the way to reach Larry Valmore. All of the information is there, and lots of information that'll help you even before you contact Larry Valmore. Now, you know, some parents, right before break, you were talking, Larry, about the importance of discipline and how important it is for discipline to be in the household. And I could just hear some parents saying, because I can hear through the radio, and I can just,
I know you can.
Yeah, I can. After a few years, you learn how to do that. But I can hear parents saying, "Oh, but he doesn't know my kid. My kid doesn't want any discipline." Well, okay. So what does Larry say?
Well, one of the rules is that kids want discipline, but they're not allowed to admit it. So they're gonna act like they don't want this, but in fact they do. And that's actually part of it. They need to kind of test you. They need to know that you can handle their pushback. And that's all part of knowing that somebody competent is flying the family. If they can break you down, then they can't trust you. And if they can't trust you, they can't feel safe. And if they can't feel safe, they're going to act out. They're going to be anxious. In fact, I'll quickly say that I think a huge amount, and I don't know what the number is exactly, but you have these kids that are diagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Right.
And they can't seem to pay attention. They're running around and causing chaos. And I've met a number of kids, I believe, I can't prove it, but I believe that a substantial number of those kids, that's just pure anxiety because the parents are not consistently exercising discipline and putting structure around. And so that kid is anxious and acting out. And I've cured a number of kids, so to speak, of this hyperactivity disorder by coaching their parents to give structure and discipline. Let me tell a quick story, if I
Okay.
might, out of
Yeah.
my therapy practice from a number of years ago. There was a kid, 10-year-old boy, let's just call him Jason, just so we have a name to use. And he was getting in trouble at school because he might be standing in line for the cafeteria or something, and he'd just turn around and start whacking a kid behind him or in front of him. He just randomly start beating kids up. Well, obviously you can't let that happen.
Right.
So the school instructed this mom, you have to get him into therapy, hoping to solve this problem. So the mom brings him, and we sat down. First session, we talked for a while. I'm gathering information so I can see if I can figure out what's going on and why and how to intervene or how to help mom change in a way that would allow this kid to be more relaxed and to stop hitting other kids. And it came almost to the very end of the first session, and like every therapist on the planet, I said, well, we're just about out of time for today. Well, as a family therapist and a child therapist, I had a bunch of toys, and this kid, Jason, had gotten out a bunch of these toys. And as soon as I said, our time is just about up, he jumped up and ran out of the room. And so the next thing I know, mom's down on her knees and she's picking up these toys. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, I'm cleaning up the toys. I said, well, no, Jason has to do that. He's the one that got the toys out and played with them. And she said, oh, he's not going to put these away. And I paused a beat, and then I said, oh, yes, he will. And so I went and he'd gone out into the waiting room. And so I went out there and I said to him, and I said this with 100% conviction that he was going to do what I said. And that's part of it. That's really important. I knew for a fact that he was going to bow to my authority. And so I went out and I said, quietly, I didn't scream at him.
Yeah.
I didn't criticize him. All I said was, Jason, you got out a bunch of toys. You need to come put them away. And he came right back and he put them away. Now, come to find out, what was happening in the family was that mom, it seemed to me there was a man involved somewhere, but not very present. So functionally, she was a single mom.
A single mom, yeah.
With a single child, this 10-year-old Jason, we'll call him. And so when she went into a store, it was awkward to leave him in the car. So ordinarily, he would go with her into the grocery store, or maybe it's a toy store, any place at all. And wherever they went, he would find something that he wanted. He wanted some treat, candy or cookies or something.
Or
he
toy or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. He always wants something, and that's no surprise to any parent.
Sure.
Kids want things. And she would say no. I mean, she doesn't have a huge income. She would say no. And then he would pitch a fit. He would scream and cry and make a big scene. And she would be embarrassed about this scene in the store in a public environment. Right. And then she would give in and she would say, okay. And she would buy him whatever he was asking for. Now, this is a big problem because he's thinking, unbeknownst to her, unbeknownst to most people, and unbeknownst to him probably,
right.
But deep down, he wants her to say no and stick with it. Because if she says no and stick with it, she's showing the competence to fly the family. But when she gives in to his scene, into his temper tantrum, then he knows that he can't trust her. She's not strong enough. And so he's not safe. And then that just adds to his anxiety, to his angst, adds to the behavior that was being seen in the school where he just randomly beats up on kids. So in his thinking, he's gaining a consolation prize, the second place. What he wants most is for mom to provide this discipline, this structure, and stick with it, be steely strong. And in the absence of that most valuable prize, he has instead some kind of candy or cookie or toy or whatever.
Going for the consolation prize.
That's the consolation prize. So at least he has something to enjoy while the plane goes down in flames. So to metaphorically.
Metaphorically,
Right.
yeah.
So I talked to the mom. I told her how important this is, how much he wants it. She was surprised. I said, but I counseled her that it's absolutely vital that when she says no, she sticks with it. Now, of course, she was concerned, well, what about this scene? I get embarrassed. Yeah, I understand. So here's the thing, and I'll just give a quick example, and parents can take the fundamental idea and modify it to whatever fits their particular circumstance with their particular child or children. But if you're in the store and a kid asks for something and you say no, and then they throw a fit, which I understand how that's embarrassing.
Sure.
But here's what you do. Instead of giving in, this is what to do. First of all, you get to eye level. If that means you sit down on the floor or kneel on the floor, whatever, you get to eye level. You get right up close to that child. And you say, you need to stop screaming, stop crying, get a hold of yourself, be peaceful. If you do not, tonight after dinner, while your brother and your sister are enjoying their ice cream, you will not have ice cream. You will be offered spinach instead. Now again, you can modify this in any number of ways, but the point is you impose a consequence. Say, if you do not behave yourself right now, this thing will happen. And again, like we talked about in episode 90 of season 33, you can take away a PlayStation, an Xbox, their favorite video game, any number of things you can take away. And you don't have to take it away just yet. You can say, calm down, behave yourself, or this will happen, this consequence will come. Right. And chances are they'll be quiet. And now you have stuck with no. You have indicated that there's a consequence if they continue this behavior, likely because they want to keep that PlayStation, that Xbox, whatever.
Or they want the ice cream. They don't want the spinach.
Or they want the ice cream instead of the spinach. Yes. So likely they will calm down. And then you just go about your business. You finish getting whatever it was you wanted to get at the store. And then you go away. And when you get in the car, you say, thank you for behaving yourself. That was terrific. And you're going to enjoy some ice cream tonight.
Yeah. But again, if you're basically doing the 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes consequence, right?
It's the same idea. It's just that this behavior is already underway compared to this rule of 3 that I talked about in our prior discussion, where you tell the child they need to do something and they don't move, and then you tell them again, they still don't move. And then if you have to tell them a 3rd time, then you impose a consequence. That's the rule of 3. So now there's behavior that's going on that you don't want to have. So then this consequence comes right away.
Not your fault, not your kid's fault.
But there's a strategy how to deal with it.
Absolutely. EpicChildren.com. Larry Valmore today here on Strategies for a Living. We are learning. EpicChildren.com. Extraordinary parents, invincible children. Epic. We'll be back with more Larry Valmore and Epic Parenting in just a moment.
We all have problems every day. We all right. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And welcome back in to Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, today with Larry Valmore, coach, MSW, Epic Parenting. You can find out a lot more at epicchildren.com. That's epicchildren.com. It's not your fault. It's not your kid's fault, but there's help available. epicchildren.com. So, Jason came back in the office, cleaned up the toys. Was mom shocked that the toys got picked up?
She was indeed. And in subsequent sessions, I taught Mom the importance of being strong, holding strong, that her beloved little boy wanted and needed that kind of firm structure from her.
Yeah.
And so over time, she began to stick with no when she said no. She learned how to impose a consequence if he was throwing a tantrum. And I worked with him for a number of months. I don't remember exactly how long. But over time, she became firm and strong. He concluded, I believe, that somebody was flying the family. He could relax. He could feel safe, that somebody knew what they were doing and was going to teach him some structure for himself. And he stopped beating up on other kids. And the school was pleased, and Mom was pleased. And ultimately, although, again, it's against the rules for Jason to say, well, thank you, this is what I needed.
Right.
And he probably doesn't fully understand it. These are urges or instincts that are not well understood by most people, especially a 10-year-old boy. So,
yeah. But I bet when Jason, I bet when Jason grew up, that he looks back. I mean, you may not hear from him, but I bet he looks back on that and probably whispers, "Thank you, Mr. Larry, for helping my mom be consistent."
Yes, if he were able to process all that, he would absolutely say that. But most importantly, of course, he would say, "Thank you, Mom, for being a strong
Absolutely.
mom." And of course, see, kids want this discipline, and they want love, and they want lots of both in more or less equal measure. And a truly loving parent will impose some discipline out of love.
Yeah.
These are not opposite things. These are two sides of just one exact coin. They want to be told, "I'm proud of you, I love you, you're delightful, you're great," and "No, you may not do this,"
Right.
or "You must do that."
Right.
They want all of that, and they need all of that in order to be truly fine members of society.
Right.
You see, people talk a lot about win-win. It's misused these days. They talk about two good things for you. Win-win is much more profound than that. It means something good for you and something good for me. And it's a marvelous, marvelous idea. To me, it's just a little too small. Win, win, win is the best. So in this case, this was a true win, win, win. It was a win for Jason,
Right.
to have this structure, to have this discipline. It was a win for Mom,
Absolutely.
who didn't have to deal over time. She didn't have to deal with these temper tantrums in the store, and he became easier to get along with. And it's a win for everybody at the school when he's not beating up on kids. So it's a win for the wider society. And who knows, left unchecked, what he might do once he gets to be 17, 18, 20 years old. If he still feels anxious, if he's still feeling angry, he might go out and shoot people.
Sure.
I mean, we see that happens. And the fact that he's not going to go out and shoot anybody now, he's not even going to punch somebody, then that's a win for society.
Yeah.
So that's, I'm delighted to say I was able to facilitate a win-win-win in this situation.
Right.
And it's not the only one. It's just a good example of what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, and I don't want to overplay this, Larry and Lauren, but I still think it's important. I mean, we scratch our heads and we point to things that happen, especially at schools, and we don't like some of the problems today. And I'll leave it there because I don't want to get too controversial. But that's why this is not a want, what you're talking about. This is a need. And so solving, many of us say, well, I can't solve that bigger problem that's causing all of this chaos in the schools.
You got to start at the micro level.
Yeah, we can.
Right.
You start where you are, don't you?
Bloom where you're planted. I like to think whenever I am choosing something that I'm going to do, some of my behavior, I like to think, well, what if everybody did what I'm doing? What kind of world would it be? And if it would be a crappy world, if everybody did what I'm doing, then I think, then I don't want to do that. I want to do, if everybody followed my example exactly, would it be a better world? And that's how I guide my decisions, how I guide my behavior.
Now, when people go to epicchildren.com, and you go there, and that's the way you contact Larry Valmore for one-on-one help, and you can help people no matter where they are. But when people go to epicchildren.com, they'll have to answer a couple of questions, right?
Yeah, just a couple questions about what's going on and what kind of problem it's causing and how they're feeling about it and so on. And then what happens, I'll contact somebody that wants some help, and it won't cost anything to begin with. And I'll just gather some information, see if I think I can help. And if I do think I can help, I'm offering a special deal, just like we mentioned last time, $32.50, 10% of my usual fee for a session, $32.50. And also I'm offering money back guarantee. So if what I urge you to do and you do it and it doesn't solve your problem, I'll refund your money.
$32.50 coming back
really
at
have
you. Yeah.
Nothing to lose.
There you go. But everything to gain, and so does
all of
every child and society. Epic Children, epicchildren.com, and very easy to contact Larry Valmore, and I hope you will, because we need epic. We need extraordinary parents and invincible children. epicchildren.com. Larry Valmore today here on Strategies for Living. Go see him. Welcome back to Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, Larry Valmore, epicchildren.com. Epicchildren.com. It's not your fault, not your kid's fault. It's information that you need. You can get it at epicchildren.com. Larry, we've covered a lot of ground today, a lot of important ground. What do you want to leave people? What is it that if somebody has just heard a sliver here or there, what do you really want them to take away from this conversation today?
Parents need to know that however much their kids protest against it, however much it doesn't look like this is true, your kids want structure, discipline. They want the sense of safety and security that they get when you are firm and clear, and if you say no, you stick with it. This will help them feel safe and secure, and that will allow them to behave better and feel better, and everybody wins.
Larry, thank you so much for your investment of self and creating Epic. And again, folks, epicchildren.com. And as always, Larry, thank you for being a great life strategist here on Strategies for Living.
Thank you, folks.
We will hear from Larry again. I can promise you that. epicchildren.com. In the meantime, is the way you can contact him. epicchildren.com. Folks, thank you for listening to Strategies. We appreciate you being here with us. And we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX. We train your brain. The Balanced Life Wellness Center. Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of those wonderful muffies. SRT Sales Training. Uprising Addiction Center. And Mira Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who is it that you'd call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren McMillian, for Larry Valmore, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.